Are we on? Yes, we are on somewhere, and it would appear that I have indeed found where. Hello, everyone. Come one, come all, come in general. This is Top Not Analysis, your favourite YouTube video essayist reviewer talkie man on the YouTubes, Reddits, Tickety Talks, and Tumblrinos. Now, it is at this point I should probably say that I recognise you're looking at this thumbnail and stream combination of subject matters and thinking, why did you have the insane idea to fuse these seemingly random topics together? Well, I'll tell you. Partly that it wasn't entirely my idea. This particular, how you say, conceptualization is actually co-authored from a friend of mine, who is also a social media influencer and activist. I'll try to link their socials if I get a solid moment. That's a good reminder for me to put my phone on vibrate, much like many other things in my life. And, yeah, needless to say, got chatting with a friend of mine who likes these streams, and that got me thinking to say, hey, what if you made an ASMR series for or about baddies? Like the concept of baddiehood. Guided baddie meditations, you might say. So I thought about it for a hot second and decided, that would be pretty cool. And I mean, y'all want to see it, so if there's any kind of audience amongst the number of people in my subscriber base who want to see particular things and they'd like to tell me, then, as with many other things in life, I am willing to try anything once. So, needless to say, I hope you enjoy the mildly unhinged necessities I will be thrusting upon you guys. Hope you've enjoyed the intro so far. And, oh, let me double check the settings as well before I start reading off my script. Okay, I am quite proud of how things are settling up. So, without further ado, allow me to bring you guys my little notepad of notes, specifically wherein I talk about my favourite baddies in fiction and real life as a little, as a little combinatrix right there. And now, let us start this discussion with the explanation of what is a baddie. As far as I can tell, based on my browsing of the internets and Urban Dictionary in particular, a baddie is a femme or womanly individual who who slays. They stand up for themselves. They can hold their own. They're really cool and strong and independent, and don't take no BS from nobody, and all sorts of various aspirational traits. And moving slightly away from the definition and more so towards the context in which I have encountered the phrase, I've most often heard the phrase being attributed to black women especially, which you'll see is the case for my first couple of picks in this little glorified top 10 baddies video masquerading as a let's play. So, where was I? Yes. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do to throw in a little more variety for you guys. I'm going to go over to the multiplayer. I'm going to duel someone, and then between different duels... Oh no, I want to do one-on-one, thank you very kindly. So, between each duel, I'm going to read out a little summary of a different baddie on my list and why I like them personally. And since I imagine the loading times between fights will be a little bit suspect, I might as well start rattling off my list. So, the first one is actually a two-way tie for my first fave baddie to talk about. Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. In my notepad here, it misspelled to Cardiff B. So take that how you will. And regretfully, I must save some of my description because I am typically a lot better at the gameplay shenanigans whenever I do have the bright idea of shutting the hell up. So, ooh, this guy is, oh, I know what that sword weapon is, or, like, I've heard it called something before. I think it's, like, it's vaguely, like, it's Aztec related, I imagine. I'm not the biggest history buff out there, so I apologize for my ignorance. Ooh, a spear though. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, okay. Okay, okay, okay. Okay. Genus Mr. Peacock Penis. Okay. It is at this point I should probably take him a little more seriously. Okay, that was extremely disrespectful. I feel practically violated in, like, the least attractive way possible. So,
Round 3.
I think I should probably attempt to take things up a notch, such as right now. Okay, I need to get away from this man before he gets froggy. Ooh, okay. Okay. I am absolutely dumbfounded. So, I will proceed to find anyone else while I finish rambling about why Cardi B and Nicki Minaj are tied in some sense as one of my favourite baddies. I'm not a huge Barb, but I do really like Nicki Minaj's music. Specifically Anaconda and a few others. As for Cardi B, I committed the horrible crime to certain people of initially thinking for the longest time that Nicki Minaj was the person who made WAP, and the reason why this is particularly of sacrilege is because Cardi B and Nicki Minaj are famous for having a pretty heated rivalry of sorts, so yeah. Needless to say, that didn't go down well with someone fictional. I keep making that joke about, oh, the Barbs are gonna be angry at me for thinking that, but I've never met anyone in real life who has actually had a go at me about that. Besides maybe one of my exes, but I never told her that before we broke up, so, you know, it's, it's not exactly the biggest loss out there.
Round one.
Oh, okay, time to lock in, as they say. Welcome to the world's quietest. Okay.
Victory!
Yosh. Oh, that makes me very excited. Yes.
Round two.
Okay, time to really go all in. Oh. Okay, well you're clearly not fighting back, so...
Time to make your legend.
I beg your fucking pardon. Okay, I'm going to count to 5. Uno, deux, trece, catorce, quince. Okay, you're moving against me. Come on. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, let's do this. Ooh. Oh, that felt good.
Victory!
Yeah, and I can't stress this enough. Ooh.
Round three.
Let's do this, man.
Well, that'll teach you. Victory!
Ooh. Okay, I am very proud of that moment. So, L to the yes. Now, my next favourite baddie goes by the name of Juri Han from the Street Fighter games. I mean, yes, Nicki Minaj made the Chun-Li song, and that was a good song. But at the same time, I don't know why Nicki made a song about Chun-Li when she's clearly more like Juri, like personality and stardom-wise. Like, you know, she a bit of a bad bee. She's like punkish in a way and street and like a little sadistic with it, but like in a cool way. And yeah, she'd be sucking on the lollipop, no pun intended. Well, some puns intended. I don't think any official Street Fighter games have depicted that kind of perpetuity outside of the extremely literal lollipop itself. But, needless to say, she's pretty cool. I like her, and I like playing as her on Street Fighter 6. So, yeah. I also like the sort of like twin spiked up pigtail sort of vibe because yeah, I too have watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I see the inspiration from Jolene. That's pretty neat. Uh, what else about Juri? Yeah, kind of an interesting-ish villain, but also pretty simple. And also strange that she's a villain in the first place, considering she kind of has a stock hero protagonist, not hero protagonist, a stock hero motivation, that being she wants to go after M. Bison and Shadaloo to avenge her father, who was either a cop or a judge magistrate or something, who was about to get Bison sent away until he had them unalived. So it's like, okay, this is an interesting setup, and Jury being kind of evil coded is an interesting play on that setup, but at the same time, why evil for her specifically, like in that particular way? Like, it would be interesting if there was some reasoning behind why is she like the way she is, outside of just the joke of, oh, literal fatherless behavior. So it's like, yeah. Oh dear. Oh no.
Victory!
Oh yes. Good fight, Centurion-san.
Round 2.
Okay, let's get busy. Oosh. With the kip up too? Oh, that makes me very happy, to say the least.
Round
Replaced by a bot? Well, that's rather cowardly of you. I am most disappointed. Well, let's see if this bot face can do any better. I suppose I could use this for good parry practice. Ooh, I like that. Oh my. Okay, I don't like that, but whatever, it's cool. Okay, I have to get... Oh, oh my. Okay, maybe I shouldn't play around with this man so much. But I really... Oh, okay, you know what, I'm getting... Okay, I'm getting too cocky for my own good, which is most unfortunate, because I'm quite fond of, Victory. I believe that is how you pronounce it. So...
Round 4.
Well... Anyway, I don't know why I'm overthinking this. It's literally a bot. I'm putting more brain cells into this fight than need be, so I will simply just dominate and recrastinate. Okay, that ain't a word.
Victory!
Yosh. Watashi wa shita. And you know what? I might play as the other guy in a bit as well. Like one of the other characters that I'm good at. I suppose I will have to find a new opponent just out of pure necessity. And while that's loading, I'll move on to the next person that I find to be a baddie. Next is Sword Lady from Full Metal Alchemist. That's what I have written down in my notes because I forgot to look up her actual name. But yeah, the blonde lady with the hair over one eye and the lips. and the sword, obviously. And yeah, yes, it's been a number of years since I've seen Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, but I do really enjoy her character and the whole series as a whole, and she was probably among one of my, I guess you could say, man sub-awakenings in that particular sphere of things. Oh, Pillen. Hola, Pillen. And as a little plot twisticle, I'm going to play as this guy for a bit. Okay, I guess I'll go for the what's his name? Yasuke. I'm going for the Yasuke vibe right now. Oh, another Adamusha. I guess if we do rematch this one, then we'll see who can Adamusha better than. I probably should have also considered training with the Orochi before, you know, being a little silly with it, but whatever, it's cool. Oh dear, okay, oh no!
Defeat.
Okay, that was a little bit, well, anticlimactic isn't the right word, but certainly disappointing. I must reappoint myself to the position of top. Not, get it? Oh my, oh.
Defeat.
Yeah, I really should have memorized some of Orochi's moves before doing this. Yeah, laugh it up, Ara. You're not gonna be such shotness by the time I am done with you, let me tell ya. What? Oh. Okay, I might have made a bit of a blunder on that one, so fair enough. Look at you with the idle animations. You must. I mean, I'm being facetious, obviously. Of course, you think you're hotness because you literally caved my face in with your dual katanas. So yeah, I suppose that is simply the fact of the matter that I must rectify through various means some might consider unnatural. The dark side is what I'm saying. But yeah, I guess while the loading screen is on, Baddielations number 469, I suppose. Azula. Azula is another baddie that I am quite fond of, largely in part because I am predisposed to liking villains a hell of a lot. So, oh god, why didn't I learn how to do feints? I really should learn how to do feints.
Defeat.
Okay then. Wow.
Round 2.
Okay. Fight. You really just... Okay, how is it that you just do things?
Defeat.
I felt my morale sink incredibly fast with that one maneuver.
Round
Well,
3.
I suppose it's back to the training rooms after this, and at least that'll give me more time to do more baddilations. Anyway, okay. Oh boy.
Defeat.
Wow. GGness to the deceased. Anyway, that was a little bit infuriating, but whatever. I'll live for now. Uh, so, let me continue the baddilations. Azula, yeah, I was on Azula, wasn't I? She's pretty cool, and in fact, I actually practiced one of her monologues as practice for a show reel at one point. Do the tides command this ship? Then tell me if the... Okay, now, if the tides... I've forgotten it because it's been so long since I heard it, but, yeah, it was certainly a good one. So, like, I recommend you don't worry so much about the tides that have already made up their mind about killing you, and worry more about me, who's still mulling it over. Like, yes, she ate that, as they say. She was the one who conquered with the Barsing sleigh, and yeah, like Azula and Ty were my biggest childhood crushes back in the day. So yeah, also a very accurate representation of my duality of switchhood. Moving on, my other favourite baddie, one of many, is Bayonetta, and this is despite the fact that I have only played, at a rough guess, maybe 2-3 hours of Bayonetta 1 specifically. So, yeah. I mean, I still have the games on the original Xbox. I just haven't busted it out again recently for, well, life-related reasons, I suppose. But yeah, um, she's very peculiar and also well animated, I guess you could say. And yeah, just does what it says on the tin, and you know, she loud, she's sassy, she's posh in a particular way. The original voice actress was a TERF, so that was a little bit unfortunate to say the least. But other than that, pretty solid performance, and yeah, she ate that. She's yeah. Yeah, runway queen, indeed. I read the beehive and everything. Uh, Next up is Nancy Eternum. That isn't her full name. Nancy Eternum, as in uh, Nancy from the video game Eternum, which is actually a visual novel. And yeah, so uh, why is she a baddie? Because, I mean, for one, she's like a really solid, like, single mother of multiple, and who looks after your characters, like, from back in their childhood days before, before their dad started being difficult for reasons, and what else? What else? What else? Um, I mean, she also would go on to become the leader of the West Roman regime in Eternum, which is for the uninitiated. The plot of Eternum is just a an explicit version of Ready Player One, like imagine Ready Player One, but with more let's say uh, let's say below the waist relevant sections. And well, yeah. I mean, after not being in Eternum for very long, Nancy eventually becomes the new emperor, and she even has some kickboxing skills on her, which were foreshadowed earlier, as well as some other things that would be foreshadowed earlier and come later, to say the least. So yeah, that is why she is on my baddies list. Time to do some practice. Okay, I have to get better at... Okay, come on, come on. Because... Isetabo! Okay, maybe I have to... Okay, I suppose this isn't really doing a fat much, so... Okay, how do I do things in this game? I feel like I might have chosen a bad choice of game, despite the fact that this is seemingly some people's favourite, so it's like... Okay, so I know that one. Okay, I have to wait for my... Okay, wait a minute. Okay, I'm taking all of the attacks off of this guy just to... Yeah, laugh it up. Okay, so... I'm trying... Oh, so that's what that is. Okay. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, hang on. Okay, wait for my stamina to come back. There we go. Okay, that is certainly something. Okay, so I may not know how to feint yet, but... Okay. Okay. Where is the feint? How does one feint? I wish to feint and feint all over again. I mean, if I really wanted to feint, I could simply stop the stream, close my eyes for 10 seconds, and just use the military method. But where's the fun in that? Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Okay. I suppose I'll actually have to go to the what's it called? Oh, cancel heavy attack. Is there a cancel light attack? Okay, so as an example, okay, maybe not the best example, but I wonder how many times I can faint in a row. Like, okay, a lot. So I probably shouldn't overcook it. I wonder if... Hmm. Okay, wait. Okay, hold on. Okay, that says me something. Okay. Oh dear. Okay, well, I guess I might as well rally off a few more of the baddies right about now, just so that it's not too difficult to find them afterwards in the editing stage of this game. So, Lady Eboshi is my next baddie for discussion. From Lady Eboshi is one of the main antagonists from Hayao Miyazaki's Princess Mononoke, which is a very good movie, wherein Lady Eboshi is essentially... So the plot of the story is there's a prince whose village gets attacked by a boar god that was possessed by a demon, and the prince manages to fight off the demon, but in doing so, during the fight ends up getting cursed and is then forced into exile from the village. And on his travels from the village, he takes it upon himself to explore the land and, in his own words, see what is happening with eyes unclouded by hate. And oh yes, and so the prince eventually stumbles onto a conflict happening between two main factions. The first faction is the other animal spirits and gods of the forest, and the other faction is the warriors of Irontown, led by Lady Eboshi, whomst I have mentioned as one of my favourite baddies because she's pretty cool. Essentially, in her universe, she's the side that represents, like, industry and technology and advancements of mankind uh, at the subtraction of care to nature, and however, it's complicated in an interesting way because besides hurting the natural people, which is shown as being a bad thing, uh, at the same time, she also improves things greatly for people who are put upon by other societies. Like, her fellow mechanics and weaponsmiths are lepers, and she was one of the only ones to extend a hand of kindness to them. And some of her warriors, are, alongside herself, are also uh, fellow escorts, to put it that way. And so, and it's strange that I never picked up on that before, because I saw that film when I was relatively young, and so the fact I didn't recognize, oh, all of these characters casually talking about how they are ex-workers, and and like, yeah, but while also being treated with like a, a surprising level of respect from the direction of the filmmaker. Like, that's some good representation stuff. Uh, so yeah, and yeah, what else? And yeah, like uh, I suppose to describe more of a Boshi's vibe in particular, she's she's very like ahaha courage, to put it that way. Like um I borrowed that phrase from Schnee, who is a YouTuber that I like greatly. But yeah, like she's very composed and elegant, but also like confident and clearly like large and in charge, to put it that way. And oh boy, do I have a message? It would appear not. Um, oh, there's some news about the Mandalorian apparently. Oh, and a picture of Zeb and Grogu. So that is most peculiar. Um, but yeah, as I was saying about Aboshi, what else? I mean, I think I explained enough. Like, just go watch the movie. She is pretty cool. Um, what else? Ah, okay. Next is a more off the beaten path level baddie, but Marnie, and she's an interesting case. For those of you who are not familiar with Marnie, she is the protagonist slash antagonist, kind of. Well, villain protagonist, to call her that. From the Alfred Hitchcock film of the same name. And essentially, Marnie is a somewhat unhinged thief, or yeah, she's a thief and cat burglar that's really good at her craft, and she also has various mummy issues. So there's that. But like, yeah, like she's tough, she's cold, she's ruthless, she's heartless, but also there's like an underlying sass to it as well in an interesting way. And you know, she shows a lot of like street smarts. And uh, I haven't seen Marnie for a long time, but now that I recollect about it a fair bit, I think it would be a very interesting rewatch, especially because um, uh, one of the things that both Marnie and Goldfinger have in common is that they are both films featuring Sean Connery enacting a corrective assault, to call it that, um, on a character to play a part in their character change. And so, because it's been a number of years since I've seen Marnie, I wonder, like, like, was this meant to be shot romantically, or was it meant to be, like, a sign of bad things happening, or, yeah, or any other number of things? Like, it's hard to say. But I remember liking Marnie very much, and a lot of the mind games that come up between her and Sean Connery, especially with all of the sassing. So yeah, like I guess the best example I can say in terms of Marnie is she's basically Catwoman if Catwoman didn't have an outfit or superpowers or like, you know, master peak human agility. So yeah. Um, Next girl boss, a very brief one, but Abigail Thorne of Philosophy Tube fame. And I'm not going to go into any more detail than that, because anyone who has seen any of my content for more than 5 seconds will know that Abigail Thorne is one of my favourite people who makes a lot of interesting stuff, and her channel is literally billions of times lit bigger than mine, so chances are that you already know of her if you are listening to little ol' me. Um, Although I will say some of my favourite videos of hers are the Abortion and Ben Shapiro video. Uh, Steve Bannon was also a solid one, and I also quite like her coming out video as well. And let me think. The one on misinformation and censorship was also quite good. You know, doxastic anxiety and all that. Like, yeah, just I recommend checking her out. Like, she don't miss in the heat of controversy. She don't miss. And also, okay, so I could be misremembering, so don't take me too serious. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, any dear viewers, but I believe, allegedly, there was also a controversy, not with Abigail apparently doing anything wrong, but apparently before she came out, an Olympic athlete actually slid into her DMs, allegedly. So, that is certainly interesting. But if it did happen, and maybe I'm just misremembering some other accusation or misremembered fever dream, I don't know. Like, anyway, next on the girl boss list is Wu Zetian. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Or Wu Zetian. I'm saying it in my other voice as well, just in case. Um, Wu Zetian is she was ancient China's first, and as far as I'm aware, only female emperor. And the reason I bring her up is because I know of her through another of my favorite YouTubers, Jiran Zhaorei, I believe is how you pronounce it. Um, they are very interesting. They make videos about Chinese culture in different media, and as well as Chinese history in general. And another reason why I mentioned Wu Zetian, other than her videos on Wu Zetian being interesting, is that they are also the author of the book series Iron Widow. And I have not read Iron Widow yet, but I very much plan to because I like the sound of the premise, which, to explain the premise as far as I'm aware, it's like a techno ancient sci-fi historical fiction about Wu Zetian's rise to power, and wherein essentially the setting is a Darling of the Franxx inspired action mecha show, wherein ancient China becomes the first to discover various high technologies such as the internet and other things. And so that huge difference in technological leap between China and all of the other ancient worlds at the time being part of the conflict between the global powers, as well as as well as a love triangle that is solved with polyamory. And without going too in depth into personal dramas, that would have been very helpful for someone that I'm aware of. So, uh, so that's Wu Zetian out of the way. Next is Yim Wing Chun, and as far as I'm aware, Yim Wing Chun is a real person. However, I do not know how much of the stories I've heard about her are mythologized, mainly because my first interaction of finding out about Yim Wing Chun was on the account of of a so-called martial artist who was actually a scammer. And in this case, I will name and shame. When I was a young lad, younger than I am now even, there was a highly despicable gentleman by the name of Sid Sophos. Um, After my brother and family and I would leave that man's company, we would take to occasionally referring to him as Sid the Slug, because on our way to his martial arts quote-unquote sessions, we would see a billboard with a slug, and it was part of like a PSA for either anti-smoking or being aware of cholesterol or salt or something. I could be misremembering, but all I remember is that there was a billboard with a slug on it. And so, yeah, eventually the twain would become recognized with each other. And, oh, what do we have here? Oh, I do have a message from a friend who's willing to play, so I'll quickly finish up the story about Sid, and then I will continue. But yeah, needless to say, Sid, even, well, I'm not sure if he had us flown out, but well, not even flown out, we took a boat to Dublin, where a so-called martial arts tournament was taking place, and it just ended up being a who's who of McDojo enthusiasts and no real fighters. So, yeah, that was unfortunate. But yeah. So yeah, needless to say, screw Sid Sophos in particular. I would be very surprised if that individual is still continuing his lessons. Actually, I take that back because, I mean, scamming is a thing that happens to people of all IQ levels, big and small. So I can't really be too mad at the people who've chosen to stay, especially since when me and my brother and our parents decided to leave his ass, we didn't exactly like make a big fuss about it to anyone else other than ourselves. So, yeah. But a little bit of YouTubing and online sleuthing later, we did find his page on a site called Bullshido, which I imagine in hindsight was just another site explaining, how he and other people of his ilk are just McDojo non-fighters who make up half the stuff they do. But that story does have kind of a happy ending, in that eventually I would study for a little time under Sifu Liu Aoyang, the fight choreographer for the Ip Man movies, whom you can see my collaboration with on my Top Knot Analysis YouTube channel with that music video that I made. It won me a distinction star in media studies even, which was very much appreciated. And then I would eventually fall out of martial arts entirely, unfortunately, for various reasons, namely time and wanting to put my focuses in other places, unfortunately. But at the same time, I have also semi-recaptured that interest and, I guess, frivolity with one Napoleon Bonaparte, another of my favourite YouTubers. I hope you're seeing a theme here. Um, so yeah, basically that. Uh, and all of that is to say, I will now recount to you the story of Yim Wing Chun. Yim Wing Chun, she is a lady who existed, who was either the creator or popularizer of the fighting style Wing Chun, which is a which is a martial art specifically tailored for self-defense for smaller or weaker fighters against physically stronger opponents. So like there's a lot of like center line destabilizations and parrying and redirection and all sorts of that ilk. Um, on a related note, I am quite fond of the Ip Man movies in general, and I think that is about all I have to say. Um, Let me see how many more baddies I had listed on my thing. Okay, Okay, I had two more interesting ones that I forgot to bring up, but you know what? They can wait, especially if I'm going to make this whole baddie thing an actual series, and it would give me more time to think of even more worth considering. So, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I may or may not come back later tonight, but if not, take care now. Bye bye then. Follow all of my socials, especially Top Knot Analysis on my TikTok, where it has all of my funny moments, and I will talk to you later. Take care.